The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
We'll start off with a gaming dad victory, and it's a victory for a pocketbook of their gaming kid. So, and real money, and not actually. We're not talking Robux. We're not talking V dollars or whatever Fortnite uses.
What do those kids call those dollars that don't make sense?
God, I've never felt so old saying a sentence. I'm sorry. V currency that the Fortnites.
V-Bucks.
No, V-Bucks. Thank you, you young hip man. You. Okay, so this story goes that this particular father, he is a financial planner, so he's in that world. He's teaching his kid financial literacy, and accordingly, part of their allowance was to go into investment. So the kid, which I'm curious, but we'll get around to that, invested it almost all into Roblox.
That's hilarious.
Roblox somewhat recently IPO'd.
Yep.
Became a public company. Off they went. This kid has made over 100% return so far. Like Roblox just took off like a rocket. This kid is riding it like a wave. He's gonna be able to buy so many Robux off of the investment in Roblox.
That's right. It's just
so
reinvestment, right?
It's refunded. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the best part is the father, the gaming dad, by comparison, his stock picks are not doing anywhere near. So kid is just smoking him with his Roblox choice. How perfect is that?
I mean, that's great that see, my kids, if they were given the money, they would just go to what they like, which maybe this kid did, or maybe they just knew that this stock would take off. I don't know. But my kids would be like, yeah, I just want this. Thanks for that.
Can I buy some can I buy some Pokemon stock?
Well, take $100 in Pikachus, please. Thanks.
Well, you joke, but there's footage of, I don't mean to laugh getting into the story, but there's footage recently of a store, and I think in the town I'm in, where it's card collectors, nerd paraphernalia, that type of place. They had a bunch of Pokemon cards, and they've been robbed now twice.
Oh, no.
In the same month for almost specifically those Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Because the value of which they're just skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Right? So you sell them online, so they've become so valuable that much like a jewelry store, people are breaking and entering to steal these valuable Pokemon cards. So, as much as my joke as far as making a quick buck on Pokemon cards, you may not be all that crazy for buying a couple packs and hoping for a real sweet millionaire Charizard.
I will say, though, just to kind of add on to that, my kid has asked Santa for some Pokemon stuff.
Oh, no.
And they are very hard to come by.
Yeah.
So there's a specific trainer box that he wants. And this thing has been sold out for months. And anytime it comes on sale, or not even sale, just for sale, it says final sale. You buy it, that's yours. You do not return it. They don't have enough inventory for demand. So yeah, maybe we do need to invest in more Pokemon stock with the New Dad Gaming budget. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You get that in. We could only hope to do so well.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so sad. Because the thought that kids are going to be missing their fun playing card game because people are hustling and making money by buying and selling it. It's just,
yeah.
It's the console nonsense all over again. Where none of the console, there's not a PS5 that has been sold besides yourself, sold to a legitimate person who just wants to play games. It's all just a flip job.
Yep. Everything's just to get that money and then turn it into Robux.
Sweet Robux. Anyways, great gaming dad victory, taking money, putting it into a game that you love, and seeing real world money skyrocket and beat the gaming dad. So that's definitely worth a gaming dad victory.
Absolutely.
Now, another victory would be snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. And I would characterize that as what I can only describe as the most hilarious Christmas game I've ever seen. And I follow Jeff and his lovely wife Bianca on Instagram, which I might suggest everybody who listens do this as well. but they're currently, I won't spoil it, but what they're doing to Christmas movies, has made it so enjoyable for me. Like your highlights are just uproarious. Like they're so hilarious. What gem have you discovered as far as making the worst Christmas movies the best time?
Well, yes. So this has made the standard Hallmark Christmas movies more bearable. So I am taking what Trevor kind of left out. I am taking the hit of 90 minutes of my life to summarize and compact a movie for everybody. But what the game is, basically, is you pick a movie by random. It could be right off the cover shot. You're like, wow, that looks ridiculous. Let's watch that one. But you cannot read the description. You go immediately into the movie, and then my wife and I, we watch the first 4 or 5 minutes just to get a sense of the characters, where we think this is going to go. Kind of pair that with the cover shot, get some clues off there, and then we write notes on what we think is going to happen during this movie. And really, like, we've been pretty good so far, so I think we could write a few. I'm just saying. It's not a lot.
That'd be another great game. It'd be another great game. So I'm going to just start sending you fake movie posters.
Yeah.
And have you write the entire plot based on nothing but that.
I fully recommend it. It just makes it that much easier to stomach these movies. I don't know. You're kind of following along, and you'll shout yes and no when things kind of match up or completely go the opposite way of what you thought. But along the movie, we will like Instagram out our thoughts and how it kind of goes with what we've predicted. And I think it just makes that much, it brings in the Christmas spirit and happiness to something that you're like, wow, thank you for not making me watch this, and just kind of giving it back to me, giving that time back to my audience. So it is something that we love to do.
Now you've mentioned that, like, now love, that's an interesting word, because you've mentioned that you're captive, like, in its 90 minutes. Is your wife a true enjoyer and believer in these Christmas movies, and then you're just being dragged along, or you both just have discovered this game and now can't get enough of this horrendous, like, Netflix fodder?
We both discovered this game, and I think that's what makes it funny, because she will like the cute high budget kind of like rom-com holiday movies, so that's her style, which some of these kind of could fall into, but these are so bad. These are just low budget, awful, like made in a month, give it to some intern to edit and then shove it out the door. So those kind of movies are the best ones to watch and pair with this game. And it's a family game. It could totally be a family. We haven't brought in the kids yet, but they could totally, these are pretty age appropriate, again, Hallmark kind of movies, and they could guess. And I bet you they'd be pretty close too. So
I was just about, I'm so glad you went there. I was just about to bring that around. I could absolutely see this being a great way to spice up movie night in some small way.
Yeah.
Be it Christmas movies or anything else. Like, if it's going to be like an awful animated kid movie, it's like, all right, everybody, take out your bingo cards or take out your lists.
Yeah.
Like, name 6 things that happen. Whoever gets the most, doesn't have to do dishes or chores or something. Like,
exactly. Yeah. It doesn't have to watch the next one. Who knows? But no, yeah, you could like bring in the family. All those get-togethers that happen around the holidays, to sit down and watch a movie and make this fun game. It does make it a lot, and you joke around during it, right? So the worse it looks, the better it will be.
Every time. Gaming Dad Challenge accepted. I would love to see another update from you guys if you bring your kids into it, or if anybody listening has a similar tradition or fun game to make the best of worst movies. We'd love to hear from it. Or share if you do it yourself. Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming on Twitter or from our website newdadgaming.com. So you found a way to turn a bad situation into a good situation. I had something similar. Ooh. And it all harkens back to my recent dubious purchase of a ROM player from China.
Right.
So previous listeners may remember I purchased a RG351P, just rolls off the tongue.
Right.
But a handheld emulator, looks like a kind of stretched out Game Boy, has NES, SNES, Genesis, PlayStation 1, PSP, just everything. It's amazing, plays ROMs. Stunning piece of hardware. I'm so happy I have it. particularly this happened. We had 2 kid events at 2 different ends of the city, and there's going to be this like 30 to 40 minute lag
Right.
between where I was going to have to that we're going to have to wait in a dome, and again, especially because of COVID time.
Right. Yes.
It's especially difficult. In previous time, it's like, great, well, we'll just go out to, this is where we were as a soccer field, an indoor soccer field. Great, I'll just like, we'll go find a corner and like practice kick and, play around. But we were going to have to get like kicked out or like go to a particular quarantine section. It was going to be miserable, right?
You just be in the parking lot with the doors closed in your car and just deal.
Right. it was going to have to just be static nothingness. I'm like, all right.
That's right.
But here I am. I got this powerful cube with every game of my childhood.
Like a GameCube.
Right. Exactly. a gaming rectangle, please. Let's be accurate.
We don't want copyright. Yeah.
Why not bring it along? And that's exactly what I did. So here I was, delayed, had to be with the kid, had to go through. Now, funny kind of story is that they ended up not, the wait at soccer didn't happen, but we ended up going shopping because we're doing renovations. So the same type of thing though. I had 2 kids in the cart, handed them this little handheld gaming system with every game I've ever known.
Right.
Hey, why don't you guys check this out and play a couple titles? What do you think? And we could have shopped for like 4 hours. It would have made no difference. Like for any number of things. So they were into Donkey Kong. They played some Kirby. Had a bit of Mario in there. They played Avengers. I don't know if you ever played Avengers for the SNES.
No.
You could be Captain America or Vision, and the all white Vision.
Oh, wow.
Hawkeye, Iron Man. It was pretty cool. I remember it being a lot of fun back in the day. But it just constant. They were being great because it's only one player because it's the one handheld. But they were like, whoever would die would pass to the next one.
That worked out.
I told you we could have shot for hours. What we had to do. So, gave me dead victory for me, frankly.
Yeah, well, I would say anybody shopping around you too. I could see adults just kind of like peer over, like, is he? Are they playing Donkey Kong on what looks like a Game Boy? What is this? I'm too old. How'd you get this?
Are they playing with power? Oh, I can play with power.
Oh, the commercial writes itself.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It could be like a Christmas movie that we can guess the plot to, right? So come on.
I'm just ruining everybody else's shopping trip because I'm wheeling past my kids as they're roasting this game, leaving us be. Like, oh, wish I had some emulated games right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually surprised though that brothers were okay passing it back and forth per death or per game. Like, because my kids are a little bit older, and you think that they mature with that, but they get more like, nope, I need it now, or we need 2 of these things to keep the peace. So that's good that they're passing back and forth.
I think they're at a sweet spot is the problem.
Okay.
Right?
That's why Nintendo invented Joy-Cons. They're like, here.
What I mean is they're 4 and 6.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of brotherly love right now. And for the 4-year-old too, like he kind of enjoys video games, but in many ways it's almost just to mimic the older brother.
Right.
He'll take a turn and he'll want to play it a little bit, but ultimately it's more about being with his brother and doing the same thing. And for the brother, it works out great because it's like, well, my younger one's going to die really quickly.
That's true.
So my wait time between games is really short. So it's not much of a sacrifice to hand it.
2 minutes versus 30. Got it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, I think with parenting, I'd be curious to know if you found the same thing. It's just if you follow through on your threats a few times,
yeah,
you rarely ever have to do it again. Because there's been a few times when my older son has not shared with the younger brother or got really upset at the game and like kind of threw a fit or, got upset at the brother and how he was playing. And like, I just took the system away. Okay, that's it. Like you lost it. Like you do not act like that. If you act like that, you don't get the system anymore. Right. And it feels like that's really just been implanted in his head now. It's like if I'm not real careful with how I act around this, and if I don't share, I lose it entirely.
Yeah.
So he does the calculus, and that seems to always hold true now because I've followed through on a couple times. I don't know if you found the same with yours. See, I mean, heck, you'd taken the 3DS away, had you not?
Yeah, we fully put them away. So I will say that there is a sweet spot, like you said, where they kind of follow the rules and they know that the consequence of their actions will result in some pain for them. But I think they become more manipulative
Yeah.
in how they do it, because if it was a sharing thing and it was based on deaths, I can see my son just like starting a level mid run and then handing it to his brother and be like, okay, there you go. Oh, you died. All right, it's back to me. Do you know what I mean? Like they would somehow bend the rules, or at least the oldest one would try to bend the rules or try to convince him that he did nothing wrong so that the younger one doesn't speak up about it. Right? So if we're in earshot, we hear some funny conversations and we kind of like let it go to a point until there's, bullying involved, and then we step in. But we let them try and sort it out. But there's some things that fly under the radar that are just, wow, you really manipulate to get your way. And I can't remember if I was like that, being the older brother to I'm sure I was.
Yeah.
My younger brother shouldn't be on the show.
As if you don't know that you were exactly like that.
I totally was the same. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's good that they know the consequence. Again, we've taken away technology. We just did it recently to my son's gaming computer. And that's something. Yeah.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
That was only last week.
Let's get that. Just a quick aside there. He wasn't keeping up with his chores. So that was a rule when we said, because this is something he's bought, right? So we bought everything else either through gift, Christmas, our own money, whatever, right? So it's easy for us to take away that stuff. But he's bought this gaming computer by himself with all his saved money. So the deal was, you own the hardware, but we own the screen time. So if you don't do your chores or you don't do the responsibilities of the family, then that screen time goes away. You don't get your computer. Like you physically have it, but you don't get to go on it. So that went away for a couple days. And then quickly came back because he just, again, it was a harsh consequence. I think he was testing the boundaries. You know how they kind of, they push a little bit too far, they find out, and then they take one step back, and then they'll push again a little bit, like later on, take one step back.
And you're becoming numb to it, so you don't notice how far it's eventually
Exactly.
gone.
Yep.
So you wake up one day like, wait a minute.
That's right.
How did we get here?
Yeah. They'll be pretty much like driving their own car or something. You're like, wait, whoa, hold on.
Am I paying for this?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. But no, it's good. I think you're in a good spot. I am happy for you. Keep an eye on it. I'm not saying it's going to get worse. I'm just saying they get better at what they do. That's all.
Clever.
Yeah.
It's easy to hold sway at this point. Yeah. Like I do not take it for granted. It is an awesome time. I think just generally parenting, like 4 and 6 year olds, like it is a real sweet spot. Like every age is going to have its up and down, but something about 4 and 6, man, this is just a riot. They're so funny. They're so malleable. Like I can generally just take them and do whatever we need to do.
Toilet trained, right?
Toilet trained. They want to hang out with you. They want to spend time.
Yeah.
They still think you're great no matter what. Like
absolutely.
This is an awesome time. I love this time. I'm very aware of it, and I'm trying to enjoy every minute of it because this is so cool right now.
You're gonna look back on these episodes. You're like, yeah, this is the golden age.
That was the best. That was the happiest I ever was. There I am drinking a beer. Still had some hair left. Distract my kids with a $100 Chinese knockoff Game Boy.
Yeah, there you go.
Now as kids grow older, they're going to eventually get exposed to some things, and if you have smart assistants in your home, that might be a little sooner than you're prepared with. What happened, Jeff?
So, my house is pretty much Google Homes everywhere. So, and I even got to be careful saying that name while we record, otherwise Google will hear us. But my son was talking to me about Minecraft, of course, right? That's the conversations in our household.
As they do.
Right?
What else is he going to talk to you about?
Nothing else. What's happening at school? And nothing. What's happening in Minecraft? Well. Let's sit down. Let me tell you a story. For you. The saga of Minecraft. But no, he was talking about something specific in Minecraft, very specific that I'm not really familiar with the game enough to know the ins and outs. I know most of it, but there's a acronym that is used or a file type. Again, I don't even know. He's like, Dad, do you want to start an SMP map together? I'm like, I don't understand what that is. What does that stand for? And he's like, oh, hey, Google. I'm like, no, wait, don't ask, because that's a very broad term. Google can't read your mind. But he asked Google right away, and Google's saying, according to dictionary.com, SMP means something completely different, which is a very...
Actually, I am going to Google it off screen. Yep. I'm not going to do this on live screen in case it's worse. Okay, so Googling SMP. Here we go.
Yeah. So you can do SMP meaning, or you can do SMP dictionary.com.
I was going to go to meaning. SMP meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
This is what Google reads off to my son.
So far, pretty good.
Okay.
Hold on. Now, I will say Google on mine
is primed
actually brings up a lot of like... maybe you're just into weird stuff.
Yeah.
My stuff is mentioning all Minecraft.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Oh, okay. I got the one that you had.
Okay. So...
I think we could read it on air.
I think so. It's not too bad. Well, it's bad enough, but whatever.
But to hear it, it would be pretty funny.
It is. It was.
So I can hold on. Let me get the search term onto our live stream.
I'm glad it's in your internet history now.
I can't. I'm just gonna be excited. So, this is the live stream we do stream on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So SMP, you'll see for me first, it's a bunch of company names that come up.
Right.
What's SMP stand for? Minecraft from Reddit.
Yep.
Okay. Well, okay. This one I didn't actually read first. We'll forget that one there. Where was one that I saw? Okay, so the SMP from dictionary.com states it to be is an acronym for the term sexual marketplace, and it's often used in a male-dominated conversations or in the manosphere, quotation marks.
Yes.
Related words in NWalt and AFC, which even now that I've said that, I'm like, what have I just said?
Well, I learned something. I learned multiple things. I learned what SMP stands for in a, kind of male-dominated conversation, which Google then said, oh, and lots of people asked me what SMP means in Minecraft. Would you like to hear that? I'm like, so enough people have said it.
Yeah, you can't default. You can't start with the clearly safe, fun thing.
Well,
you have to just...
Yeah, and I don't know how their algorithm works, but you think we're all in a family with different voices that are kind of cued into it, right? So you think it would take a look at oh, who's asking? Maybe I'll start with the Minecraft stuff first. But
okay,
no.
so that's actually upsetting then, because it's this is clear. That's a kid's voice.
Yeah.
That's a kid's voice, and you're gonna start with that when you full well know. And you looked at my results.
Yeah.
Right, and the first couple were Minecrafts. It was either businesses or Minecraft.
Yeah.
So Google has to kind of search for smut. Come on.
Yeah. Well, again, he got the answer that he wanted after. So, again, Google said, you want to hear this, and he's like, yes. So it stands. I can't remember what it stands for now. Single multiplayer game or something like that.
I don't know if I want to look it back up.
Don't look it back up.
I don't know how many times I want that in my history.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn. And just the thought of, as soon as I get a smartphone, it's
well, that's the end of it.
One innocent curiosity away from complete and utter disaster.
Yeah, it's just, and it's great to have a conversation about many different things that come up, right? I'm not going to shield them from every world thing, but this is oh no, that's just kind of gross and something you can't process right now. But thanks, Google.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, because it's not about being Puritan and no, we'll never talk about this. It's actually great that you get a chance to have good conversations so you can control it. That's excellent. But at the same time, there's a control you want around when and how. And if you go from initial conversations where we can gain some understanding from a respectful, solid foundation,
right,
to just launching into the darkest corners of depravity of the web. It's
seedy underbelly. Yeah,
there's degrees of which you want to take on at one time.
Yeah.
So, come on, Google, what are you doing? Help a family out, man.
Everyone could just picture me just slow motion reaching for it, no.
jumping across the room to try to smack the power.
Smack it out of the plug or cover his ears. No.
Oh, we had nothing even close to that, but the one kid was in the kitchen with us watching. It was either Blippi or Steve and Maggie,
Okay.
which I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yep.
It's this British bloke and a bad mouthing blackbird.
Right.
So and all of a sudden, like, it's either he said something we didn't notice it, or Google misinterpreted it, or XYZ. The next thing you know, it is the most just after 12 rap video you've ever seen.
Oh, really? Oh,
Just everything, every part of it, and you're watching it. Like, it's like, God, how? Like, how
Just
in any
extremes.
universe would you go from Blippi to this? Like Blippi to Dippy? Like it's like,
Yeah.
how could you take such a jump?
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
I don't know.
and the voice, it would have come from him. So he's got like a cute, tiny, little 4-year-old or 6-year-old voice, and it's like, clearly, like,
Yeah.
you must know who this person is, because I'll say this, it's smart enough. It is full well smart enough because I pay for YouTube Premium,
Okay. Yeah.
so I
You're
get
one of
Google
the
Music and everything
suckers.
else like that. So I don't get so I don't get any ads. Any
Right.
Now it's smart enough to know that when I ask, "Hey, show me a video, play this music, whatever," it's like, "Oh, you're the person that pays us."
Ah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? But you're telling me, like, when a kid asks for a educational video, you can just throw them into the worst possible gangster rap video and be totally fine with your choices.
Yeah. Did you mean this? Okay. Here you go. And
I don't see any issue with that.
I'm not sure the age rating. What does it matter? Who cares? Just here you go. Yeah, no, there is the technology there. They know full well. I'm not sure what the end game is, but smarten up.
Make our lives harder.
Can't do all the parenting all the time. Come on.
Anyways, tell you what, gaming dads, stay vigilant.
That's right.
Keep an eye on these so-called smart devices. Hey, let's end off the show. We got a couple real fast gaming dad approved games.
Yep.
A couple things like Jeff and I stumbled upon and just wanted to pass it along. So for myself, it was a game called Phogs. You've probably seen it. Honestly, like, it's been around for a while. Like, their social media game is like pretty on point. Like, they're just constantly on there, like, fairly funny on social media. The super bright, super colorful, funny, silly nonsense. It is a dog, except both ends of the dog, it's just a sausage and then 2 dog heads on either side.
It looks hilarious. For anyone that wants to look up a video, it's just funny.
Oh, it's just, they have so much, and you can tell even just by if you do check out on their social media, like, it's just that tone goes throughout, where it's just like, this is fun, dumb, silly, great times. Yeah. So it's either that one controller has 2 joysticks that control either dog, or 2 controllers will each control a dog head. So the chaos that ensued with my son, like, it was just nonsense, right? Like, just wrapping around things. You get to some parts where there's wind blowing, so one of the dogs has to kind of catapult himself ahead and then latch onto something. So what's cool about those, like, the problem solving, it's one of those things that when you're watching a kid play that you're enjoying, because they have to it's non-linear in its problem solving approach.
Right.
So you have to kind of think a little bit and then do some experimentation. So it's kind of fun to get a kid into a bright, vibrant, happy world like this, and then also see that they need to apply some more interesting or verbose thinking to how to solve the various challenges. So, and besides, it's 2 players, and hey, look, for Game Pass, it's free for all those cool Game Pass dads that we have. Like yourself, Jeff. So, great. Hey, quick recommendation. Suggest you guys look it up. Phogs, excellent game. Great one to play with your kids. They'll be in stitches like mine was. And a lot of fun. Now, a more robust dad title. We were looking. Jeff dipped into a older game with Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, definitely not kid friendly, this one. So
quite the opposite.
I will say every year I do an annual rewatch of Lord of the Rings, and I just fall into that world again where I'm like, you know what? I never really played Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. So I have it through PS Plus a long time ago. Downloaded it again. It is a fantastic game. And one of the users on Twitter that was commenting on our post at New Dad Gaming was explained it perfectly. It was Arkham Mordor edition. Like if you like the Batman Arkham City kind of mechanics with the countering and the mobs of enemies that come and rush you, and you're more defensive and then aggressive when you can. There's stealth mechanics. All of that is in here, just in like the Lord of the Rings kind of world. So it is a fantastic like system to get back into, because I love the Arkham games. In the Lord of the Rings kind of realm, and having a nemesis system where all the bosses are kind of against you, and if they defeat you, they get promoted within their own ranks, and you can disrupt the ranks by going after certain bosses. And the stealth makes sense because you can get intel from the enemies on the bosses that you're about to fight. It's all working for me right now. So I am like fully invested in this one, and then hopefully the sequel, if my investment continues, into Shadow of War, the sequel that came after. So I will fully recommend it to age-appropriate dads that there's a lot of, it's not Phogs. They got a lot of dismemberment and blood and guts and stuff. So definitely not totally kid-friendly, but it is you're worth your time, and the attention to details there, everything. So highly recommend it, and I think it is on Game Pass, or at least one of them is. So
yep,
look it up.
Absolutely,
it's good.
Well, I think if any other game dads are like me, it's one that's been on your periphery for ages.
Yeah.
It was so well reviewed, everybody just sang its praises, and it seems like it's held up really well despite its age. So this is very much a kind of get off your backside, just like sit down and actually play this one. It sounds like it's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely worth your time. Yep.
There it is. So a couple game recommendations. Hey, and as always, gaming dads listening, if you have a gaming recommendation for ourselves or any other gaming dads, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out. And in so doing, let's wrap up the show. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. So if for those gaming recommendation tips, if you have any stories about your smart AI going rogue and informing your kids of things you didn't want them to be, any other gaming dad victories as far as investments or saving some downtime with some power in your pocket, we'd love to hear these stories. Always love to interact with listeners of the show. You can find us at Twitter at NewDadGaming, or at our gaming website, newdadgaming.com. If you like the show, you really, really help us out if you're able to subscribe, and you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, any of the major podcasting services. A subscription, a rating, and especially a comment boosts the show in an incredible degree. We'd be very much grateful if you could take a moment to do that for us and help us as we try to reach out to as many gaming dads as possible. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. My name is Trevor, and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And just because you became a dad
doesn't mean it's game over.